Ever since the beginning of music, players have been getting humbled for years now. I thought I had a good sense of what being humbled means. That was before I stepped into the New York jazz scene.
Jazzman.
Birdland specifically, a jazz club right outside the Lincoln Tunnel in Hell's Kitchen. Some nasty players there. You see, a friend of mine, Vinny Raniolo, invited me down to catch a set, and I come from a background of concerts where the environment is loud and like overstimulating, getting kicked in the face by crowd surfers. You metalheads can probably vouch for me about the kick in the face thing. I mean, you could hear people shuffling around in their seats from like 20 feet away. That's how quiet it is here. The style of jazz music is so overhyped nowadays, and I think that if you're a self-taught musician, jazz seems like this unobtainable milestone. It's really not different than your typical 12-bar blues progression. What I'm trying to say here is something you've probably heard before. Jazz is just a bastardized version of blues guitar. He's got that little blues lick in there. A little nudge there on the 9th fret of the B string. A little hammer on there too. And a quick slide up. This takes me back to one of the first times I played with Vinny. I was up here in that standard A minor pentatonic scale. Vinny did something I've never seen before, which was a variation of that. And that blew my mind. And he's doing it here, especially on this turnaround lick. Man, look at that aesthetic. It barely scratches the surface of how intimate this place felt at the time. But anyways, in jazz guitar, you'll see a lot of these triangular 7-chord shapes here. There's so many different variations to that. You could do this, you could do this, you could do this. During the show, Vinny kept his volume low, like a bass player. A good bass player, you'll never hear him predominantly in the mix. It'll always be underneath everything, kind of holding that rhythm down. But don't get me wrong, Vinny can certainly hold his own as a lead guitarist.
You know, I should get Frank in here and then we can play a number for you.
That'd be a pleasure.
But I have to say, he knows me well.
Sure.
Here.
The perfect diversion.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Not too sure where Vinny went, but I'm here in the back room of Birdland with a very, very nice Gibson guitar.
So Vinny's at the bar.
Oh, he's at the bar?
Yeah, they're all at the bar.
Now, I have never met these guys in my life. This guy immediately hands me his guitar and tells me to start tuning it,
Again?
and almost demands I play some riffs on it.
Okay, play.
I fell for the old bait and switch.
Yeah, I'd love to record you playing. Look at you.
Once he got warmed up, my man just kept going and going
Jazzman. You know this guy, Vinny?
and going. Two French guys absolutely humbled me. Fucking French!
You're like him, but more chords.
I always know that. If I close my eyes, I know who's playing.
I've spent a lot of time practicing arpeggios. I can tell you that the more you play them, the faster they get. Whether or not these cats are playing arpeggios here, I'm not completely sure. It's certainly something that they've practiced over and over again. And you'll notice when I pick up this jazz guitar, I'm playing it like a Stratocaster. I'm glad Vinny eventually got around to this because I was really like, oh, that's how they should sound.
Woo! Yeah, boy.
The flight of the bumblebees. Close enough. Plays behind his head, plays with his teeth.
You know how I got my wife to love me? I played her Flight of the Bumblebee behind my head in the nude.
That's how I loved you too.
Frank and Vinny, I'll make internet stars out of you yet. The roots of jazz can be felt all over the music scene, including rock and roll. For instance, this riff is used in Jimi Hendrix's piece, Third Stone from the Sun. Bucky plays it with singular notes, like... With jazz, it's all interpretive. You could just make it your own. I played octaves, for better or worse. When my dad called me up to eventually play on the song with him on a live stage, I was ecstatic. I've been listening to it since I was like 3 years old. And my favorite part of the riff, unironically, my dad's composer, Rick Gordon, said, "We don't have a guitar player for our next gig." He had all these charts that I did not know how to read. Regardless, I was like, oh my gosh, this would make a great video. In a similar situation, I got to play some Antonio Carlos Jobim on stage with my sister, and I only had about 3 days to learn it before showtime. Here's how I pushed myself to learn a complex jazz song just 2 days before a gig. See, bossa nova and jazz music are two completely different things. Metal has black metal, and then you have like thrasher. Jazz has like bebop, and then we go down to Brazil, find bossa nova and samba music. You guys were sure to let me know the difference in the comments on that video, so thank you. Aqua di Beber is a bossa nova song written by Antonio Carlos Jobim, and he has Astrid Gilberto play on the original track, but Sinatra covered that in a later date. Almost always, Antonio Carlos Jobim is playing on a classical guitar, no picks involved whatsoever. So I originally started with this basic chord progression. And then, on top of that, I started individually moving the fingers on my fretting hand. This was to match the melody. Girl from Ipanema, another great kind of bossa nova. My favorite thing to do is obviously cover Sinatra's vocal lead with my guitar. Young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes a walking, and when she drops something, I forget the words. Similar to jazz, the guitar can be anything you want it to be. You want it to be a drum? Study Vinny Raniolo and start getting all chucky with your picking. If you want it to be a vocalist, listen to Frank Sinatra's lead lines and try and emulate that through your guitar playing. Jazz to me used to be this big, looming mass, scary and intimidating. In reality, Frank and Vinny here couldn't be more accommodating, inviting me to blues jams even. I think that's the type of energy that the jazz community strives off of. All skill levels are welcome. As for my French friends, well, I definitely think they were doing some headhunting at that local jazz club. Regardless, you could find my new friend Lior right here, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, like the video, such as, so I can continue to go out on the road and utterly embarrass myself in front of prestigious jazz musicians. I'm just kidding, by the way, but that's it. See you later. Thanks for watching. Appreciate ya.